Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Uh, Today we will be doing the very last two surahs of the Quran. Not that we are completing the Quran. We only started from Surah al-Asr. So we are completing the last few surahs of the Quran. Uh, and these two surahs are Surah al-Falaq and Surah al-Naas. These two surahs put together are described as Mu'awwazatayn. Mu'awwazatayn means the two surahs which are recited to seek protection from. Ta'awwuz is to seek protection. So uh, that's the subject matter of these two surahs. Uh, I mentioned in my last presentation of Surah Lahab and Surah al-Ikhlas that the contents, the subject matter of the Quran gets completed with Surah al-Ikhlas. If you follow the understanding of these surahs in a sequence, what you find is that the Almighty has mentioned in a chronological order the manner the message of the Quran was delivered to the people of Mecca, and the message was not just completed in its contents, it was completed in the way it was expected to dominate. Whenever a messenger of Allah, Rasulullah, would come to a nation, he would come with a mandate from the Almighty. The mandate would be, the promise would be that when he will have completed the communication, the delivery of the message properly and effectively, in a way that the people who would be conveyed the message will have no doubts in their minds that it is the truth. They will be punished, annihilated. And there could be two possibilities. It would be either that the messenger of God would be all by himself, accompanied by very few people. Something, it seems, was the norm. Most of the messengers that we read about in the Quran had very few people accompanying. And when that was the case, it was the Almighty's decision, policy, that He would cause His natural phenomena to become calamities, to cause the punishment, the destruction of those nations. We did not have the occasion, the opportunity of reading some of the earlier surahs, which talk about, for example, winds that are in the control of the Almighty and other natural phenomena whose evidence has been provided by the Almighty to let those people know that, everything that He has created is in His control. So when it will come to His decision to destroy these nations, the people who are rejecting the message of the Almighty, He'll have no problems. He will just involve one natural phenomenon or another to cause the calamity of the punishment to take place. However, if a messenger would be accompanied by a large number of people, as indeed was the case with the Prophet, last Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the punishment of the Almighty came in the form of the companions of the messenger, causing that punishment to be inflicted through their military strength, might. This is what happened in the case of the last messenger. And as I have been describing over and over again, the Quran, it is looked at from cover to cover. It is actually describing the story of the inzar, that is warning of the messenger. The way the messenger of God was able to complete his mission of ensuring that he is doing inzar. Inzar is warning. He is warning the people. And then, as a consequence of that warning, when those who were warned, they were informed so very clearly and fully that they had no excuse to say no to it, to reject it. And they rejected, they were punished. So we have seen in the surah that we did that in Suratul Fasl and Suratul Al-Humada, the Almighty clarified that all are going to be destroyed. Innal insana lafi khusr, except those who believe and do good deeds, and the detail. And Surah Al-Humada, the Almighty talked about the people who were about to be destroyed. Their character, their behavior, their interests. Allazi jama'a malam wa addada. In the next two surahs, Al-Fil and Al-Quraysh, the Almighty is talking about the same very people who were about to be destroyed, talking about the fact that they had seen before their eyes the blessings of the Almighty that were showered upon them in their history and in the present days, when, because of the house of God, they were getting the benefits of free trade journeys, food, and security. While the rest of the people in the Arabian Peninsula were starving, were hungry, and were insecure. Then we saw that in Surah Al-Ma'un, the Almighty talked about their meanness, character's lowness, in a way that it was declared that they are just good for nothing, unworthy to be the custodians of the house of God. And therefore, the house of God has now been taken away from them. And the Almighty has decided that it's going to be given to the messenger Inna Atainaka al-Kawthar sallallahu alaihi wasallam very soon. And when that declaration was made, then these people, these kuffar, were addressed directly. And they were informed that, look here, you are worshipping the God, the deity, which our prophet is not worshipping you, going after the false gods. Therefore, for you, now our relationship, contact with you, our sympathy for you is over. Lakum dinukum waliyad. And when that has happened, then it really means that the victory, the help of the Almighty will come. In other words, that support, which obviously would mean uh, punishment for the enemies, it's just around the corner. And then finally, we saw that in Surah Al-Lahab, it was actually declared that the punishment will come. It is mentioning the punishment. Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. Abu Lahab and his companions, they're going to be destroyed. That has been mentioned. And after that mention, there was a brief but complete mention of the message of Tawheed to the people of Quraysh who were rejecting, that they ignored. And it was mentioned that now this message is fully established. This understanding, this creed, this belief is now going to dominate, right? This actually essentially completes the Quran, the Quranic message. The job has been done. It was just a matter of time that the completion was about to get implemented. So now was the time for the Almighty to present to the believers the two surahs which put together, if you look at them, are the custodians, the security guards, which are taking care of the message. The idea is that now that the message is complete, those who are its enemies, whether from the outside world or whether from the world inside, these enemies, they are not going to spare you. They will not allow you to just have your religion practiced, easily without any difficulties. So the Almighty is now mentioning in these two surahs that you must seek the support and the assistance of your Creator, without whose assistance you will not be able to continue to follow the path that has been given to you. If you look at it, the two surahs, amazingly take us back to where the Quran started from. The Quran starts from Surah Al-Fatih, wherein we seek guidance from the Almighty, guidance to follow the straight path, Ehdina Sirat al-Mustaqim, to enable us to follow that path despite all the difficulties, despite the challenges that are there. And after having mentioned the entire path of guidance that we sought from the Almighty, and completing it at Surah Al-Ikhlas, now the Almighty again is telling us that we should seek help from Him so that we are rescued, saved, protected against all the evils that are there, going to be there, to try as best as they can to take us away from the right path. So these are therefore the two surahs towards the end. These are the only two surahs which are the Madanan surahs of the last group. The last group started from where? 67th surah, which is Surah Al-Mulk. And until 112 surah, they're all Meccan. Now, as has been the pattern all throughout the Quran, the last part of the group has Madanan surah, which is Surah al-Falaq and Surah al-Naas, 130 and 114. I don't need to tell you that these two surahs form a pair. Them being a pair is so evident that, this pair can be given as an example to show to people that Quranic surahs are in pairs. I mean, look at the way they start. Qul Zubira, Qul Zubira, you know. And both surahs are seeking the Almighty's protection, help from being secured against the threats that believers have from the outside, either the outside world or the outside that is actually inside the individual. So let's start from Surah Al-Falaq first. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق. Now, normally when we use Qul or Qala, we translate it as say. Well, in Arabic, you will find quite often that a verb changes its meanings, its translation, its shades of understanding when the context changes. So there are a number of different shades that you find within a verb. So qala means he said. Qala means he shouted. Qala means he declared. Qala means he whispered. Qala means he sought help. He did dua. All of the meanings are there. So you will understand its meanings from the context in which it's used. So here we can say, seek protection. Seek protection by saying, I seek the help of the Lord. Qul a'udhu, I seek help, I seek protection of the Lord. Now, al-Falaq is normally translated as morning, the early morning, the light of the morning. Actually, the translation is, I seek the help of the Lord of who emerges or brings to emerge. One of the important messages that the Quran has given us is that if you look at your life keenly, look at the way things are happening around you, this life of ours depends on a certain phenomenon, a certain natural happening, which can be described as something emerging from something else. What we eat, the food we have, is, if you look at it, it all emerges from seeds. There is a seed which breaks, and then there sprouts a crop, a vegetable, fruit. There are plants, there are trees that grow. They don't appear all of a sudden the way they are, they gradually emerge. And they emerge because of the Lord. So we seek the help of the Lord who brings to emerge. Another aspect of it is the way light emerges from darkness. Yet another very prominent phenomenon example is the a child emerges from the womb of mothers. So, the entire life is based on this al-Falaq. So we are seeking the protection of our Lord who causes things to emerge. Imagine, when you were saying that I want my God's help. Uh, okay, it's a good statement, but honestly, I'm telling you, we Muslims normally make statements as a matter of habit, just coming out of us because we are used to it. It just happens instinctively without giving things, statements, a thought. You see, when you are saying, I ask my God to protect me, it's always important that we should know in our mind who is it that you are asking for help. What you're saying is that you are asking for help and protection from the one who is causing this life to continue to exist. The life comes out and then it is sustained. Why? Because he is the Lord who brings to emerge, who causes things to emerge, right? So, I mean, that understanding gives you a strength within yourself. It's like you say, I am safe because I have a friend. Now, what do you mean? Well, you have to describe your friend. Who is he? Why do you feel comfortable? What is it that there is in him that makes you feel confident? So, we are describing our Creator, and this description has been done in a way that you can describe al-Falaq, the Lord of what emerges, the Lord who brings things to emerge. Now, min sharri ma khalaq, and we are asking His protection from the evil of what He created, from the evils of what He created. That is, He created everything, but He did not create evil. He created everything, but He did not create evil. Evil is the consequence of the freedom that He provided. So, He created everything, and He created everything good, purposeful, useful. However, what He created had this ability, potential of doing whatever it could, whatever it wanted to. And it is the misuse of that ability, that freedom, that causes evil to emerge. So evil here doesn't necessarily mean the evil against good, the evil which is morally evil. It also includes evil which is threatening, what causes harm, physical harm, mental harm, financial harm, etc. So we seek His protection from the evil of what He created. من شر ما خلق ومن شر ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب. And from the evil of darkness when it dominates. There are many evils that are associated with the darkness of the night. People commit thefts, burglary, murder, and so many other things. They happen because of darkness, because you can't see, and therefore people take the advantage of it. So that is also mentioned while seeking help from God. Then there is another aspect. وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ. وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. Now this is another aspect of evil. When you are asking Allah for help from being protected, and you have described Him in the best possible manner when it comes to describing His strength, you are now talking about all the different forms of evil that threaten you. So, Sharin Nafathat, from the evil of the blowers, Nafathat, the blower in knots. This is actually referring to black magic. Black magic is another evil. The manner black magic is created, caused, is that there is a process which is undertaken. And the process involves quite commonly knots on which there are certain expressions of words that are read and blown. And things happen. Evil things happen. You might wonder, why? How? Well, the answer to the question how is the same way as there are many things happen in life. If you imagine the kind of tremendous progress that science has been able to achieve in the form of technology, how does it happen? It happens because the world that God has created has the potential of enabling humans to be able to achieve wonders. Have you ever imagined, this technology that we are employing? Would it be possible had those very fine, subtle, amazing possibilities in nature not been there? There's so much involved in the manner we have progressed. We travel, we use cars, aeroplanes, etc., and it's made possible by petroleum. Well, now there are other ways of doing it. Now, what if there was no petroleum? It's there. So the potential is there. And humans, they make use of it. Now, this is a positive use. But it seems that the life that we are living, there is also potential, lots of potential of evil as well. I mean, let's face it, arms and ammunition, the nuclear bombs, etc., which cause loss of life, colossal deaths. It's there. Likewise, it seems that there is also the possibility of evil being inflicted upon others by some people through this technique. You know, the laws of nature that humans have discovered, and they have, as a result, been able to exploit the natural resources and potential to the advantage of humanity. Likewise, there are laws which some people have discovered uh, in this area. You know, there are knots, and they blow on them and are able to thus cause evil to happen. It's a potential, and it happens. If you're not familiar with it, well, okay, you're lucky. Thank your God that you don't know. But honestly, there are people who are afflicted with lots of difficulties, problems because of black magic. And we can only seek protection from the Almighty for us and our dear ones and all good people to remain safe and secure from this evil as well. So that's what is mentioned too. ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد, and from the evil of the envier when he envies. So another way evil gets created, it's their evilness, evil of their envy, uh, that causes either problems, difficulties because they are envying, and in many cases, this envy, jealousy leads to many decisions that they take, to cause harm, simply because some people don't want to see, they don't like to see others flourishing, so they envy. So this mention of a number of different possibilities of evil has been made because now that the message of the Almighty was complete and it was presented in its pristine form, uh, there was a very likely possibility that the enemies are going to come back with full force, try to damage, destroy it, with all kinds of weapons at their disposal. And this is what really has been provided by the Almighty to believers for them to continue to recite so that they are protected from the evils of all these possibilities. This surah, which is Surah 113, is talking about the evil that threatens us, threatens the Almighty's message uh, from the outside world. There are people, there are possibilities that are negative, and they are outside the domain of human personality. But then there is an evil which resides inside us, which is talked about in the very last surah, Surah al-Naas, which says, "Qul," which is pray. A'udhu, again the same. I seek protection. Nas. I seek protection of the Lord of men, of humans. Rabb is the one who is enabling us to live, to survive, to thrive. He is sustaining us, right? We quite often forget about the fact that as humans, we are vulnerable, dependent. Every moment we need something in the world that we are a part of to be able to live. A disconnect for only for a short while from the blessings that we are getting would mean we are gone. Who is doing it? Our Rabb, the Lord, the sustainer, the one who is providing. So Rabb is the one who provides. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس. And let's do it. Ilahi. The Lord of men is also the king, the sovereign of men. So, Rabb is the one who is enabling us to be always, sustained, for us to survive, to flourish, with all the needs that we have. And Malik, the sovereign, the king, is the one who is in complete control. He is running the affairs. He is the king. So, we are addressing him and we are seeking his help, seeking protection from him. Ilahin Nas, the deity, God of men. Now, God or deity is the one who is worthy of being worshipped because he is the one whom, if you pray to, if you seek help from, he listens. He knows what you are praying to him for. And he has all the strength, the ability to respond to your prayers. That is what Ilah is. And in our religion, our message, we have been told that our creed, our formal statement of our faith is La ilaha illallah. There is no deity, there is no God except Allah, the one God. In other words, there is no other being in this big world who has the ability of knowing what we are asking him to do for us in a way which is supernatural. We can't explain. We pray to him and he listens, he hears, and he responds. If you pray to anyone other than Allah, any partner, any saint, any angel, any jinn, you're mistaken. You're being fooled. You're not praying to anyone, just your own misconception, wrong understanding, and your prayers are not being addressed to the one you are praying to. So it's only Allah who is the Ilahi Nas, the deity, the God of man. Now we seek protection from him. Min sharri waswasil. What are we seeking protection from? Min sharril waswas, from the evil of the whisperer. In sharril waswas. Waswas is the whisperer, you know, who whispers, but doesn't just whisper. Al-Naas. After whispering, uh, whisperer and disappear. He whispers and disappears. In other words, he suggests to us things which are evil and then disappears. Does not support us when it's time for us to seek help and support. Just disappear. This is what the Quran has mentioned in the case of some people who supported uh, the polytheists, Mushrikeen of Makkah, from the Jews. They, encouraged them, motivated them, and when they were face to face with Muslims, they just disappeared. So they don't take the responsibility. That is what the Almighty is telling us, that the shaitan, who is al-waswas, whisper, is al-khannas. He disappears. Does not help you at the time when you, after following his instructions, you do things which are wrong, and then you are in a state of desperation because what you've done is wrong and you are in trouble. He doesn't come to your rescue, disappears. So this is what he does. What does he do? الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس. He is the one who whispers, the one who whispers into the hearts of men. So this evil that is injected in us, where is it done? It gets here in our thought process, in the way we think. In the thinking process, Shaitan is able to add ideas that are evil, deceptive, harmful. So, in other words, the Almighty is telling us through this prayer, which we are directing towards Him, that don't think that your enemy is very powerful. His power is restricted to his ability to suggest evil thoughts in you. Whenever something good is happening, you are attacked by this enemy of yours. That is why it is said that when the Quran is being recited, إِذَا قُرِئَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْقُرْآنُ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ. You seek protection from Allah. Because when you are understanding the Quran, you will find that you are being stopped. You are being prevented. Where? Inside. It is tough. It's not easy. You talk about stories. You talk about things which are fictional, unreal. and you see the excitement in people. But you talk about the message of the Quran, it's as if all of a sudden there is an attack on the individual from within himself for not not enabling him to pay attention. This happens. So and it happens in the heart. Yuwaswisu, he whispers, he sudur al-Naas, hearts of men. So the Almighty clarifies that this is what is happening. You know, that's what the Quran mentions over and over again. That be careful. As soon, as soon as you start thinking, planning to do something which is good, correct, taking you towards guidance, you're going to be attacked by Shaitan, who is doing nothing but whispering what? Evil thoughts. Where? In your heart. That is what the Almighty is telling you is going to happen. And who are these people? They are min al-jinnati wan-nas. They are from jinns and men. Jinns and men, which really means that the Almighty has clarified that this army of your enemies is going to be coming from two different species. You know, it's either going to be the jinns whom you can't see, so they're going to become a part of your thought process, or it's going to be from men who who will talk to you, will invite you, will excite you, will provide you with such exciting, interesting, attractive things for you to get attracted towards and therefore distracted from the message. This is going to happen. This particular verse, which is the very last verse of the Quran, which is telling us that Shaitan, Satan, is from amongst jinn and men. It gives you a reason to believe that Iblis was the first Shaitan, the leader of what you may call the force of Shaitan. And he had his army, both from amongst jinn and men. Whoever from amongst jinn and men takes it upon himself as a task, as a project to spread evil is Shaitan. So if you have somebody you know, a friend of yours whose company you adopt, and he's actually suggesting you doing evil things, is Shaitan. And as and when somebody does something uh, in the category of suggesting evil, becomes a Shaitan at that point. So we might sometimes become Shaitan by inviting others towards the evil way. Likewise, there are jinns who whisper into the hearts of humans evil thoughts. Not all jinns are evil. The Quran is pretty much clear that amongst jinn, like amongst men, they are good people too. Well, the Quran also gives us an indication that from amongst jinns, there are those, amongst jinns, like amongst men, there were prophets as well. Allah arranged for the guidance of jinns as well, in the form of prophets, messengers going to them. The only thing is that, we don't know. We've not been informed about them, except for this indication in the Quran. The reason is that it's not directly relevant to us. the Quran provides us with relevant information. So this takes us to the end of the last few surahs. And I will now make a new announcement of when and where, probably here, but when we start reading the Quran from the beginning. I would want it to be done in a way that, you know, we are also getting it recorded properly. Right now, what has happened is, because this message was disturbing Shaitan, my my mobile has stopped uh, recording it. On. It had very low battery. On. So obviously, it wasn't a great job of recording. But I think, before I start afresh, maybe I might take a pause of 1 or 2 weeks. I don't know, but just look for the announcements. So today's announcement was also very late. But now that we have started these proceedings, I would like to inform other people as well. There are people who've shown interest, and we will do it in a way that we are able to record it properly. And I would like to. This is my one of my goals, that the entire Quran, if the Almighty provides me with the opportunity of field, I start doing it, and with the intention of doing it completely. But for that, I need guidance, help, uh, and I think, if it's explained on the board, it does make sense, because you can see the verses on the board. But that's how we're going to proceed. Thank you very much for coming to these classes. We will continue doing them. Oh, I was wrong. It is still recording. That was my fault. I just made a sweeping statement. I just wanted to criticize Shaitan. So, in my fondness to criticize Shaitan, I made the statement. I actually heard some sound which was very similar to the sound of the mobile coming to its end. But now I'm going to hear the Azan, which brings us to the end of this class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.